Welcome in the Fantasy Football Office Hours. We are your professors for this semester. Joshua Foster, JL Garofalo. I don't know why I said my name correctly, but not yours.
No, Joshua Foster works. Again,
Joshua
I told
Foster.
you, whenever I played in Madden or any kind of franchise where I had to name my player, I named him Josh Foster because they could say Foster, they could not say Fuster.
Yeah, so we haven't really highlighted enough that you said your own last name wrong on stream. That I still giggle about that.
Foster's my alter ego.
It's
so
your
alter, completely fine
Clark
with
Kent.
you calling me Josh. Exactly.
It's not really hard to decipher though. Your name is it's like it's not gonna be hard to find you. It's like, oh, Josh Foster.
Josh F.
That could be Josh Fuster. It's like putting like a fake mustache on and pretending like it's a disguise.
So I just want to bring up something real fast. This was breaking news that kind of happened during our stream, but hey, I put in a nice little banner here. Odell will start this week bearing any setbacks. So guys, I kind of want to let that lead into our discussion real fast with you, JL. But are you willing to put Odell Beckham in your starting lineup this week? I said willing,
If I have to, I think we might have talked about this 2 days ago or so on the stream, and I forget who the guest was, but the guest was saying they were like, absolutely, I can't remember who it was. It was like, absolutely got to start Odell, and I think I'm not on that train as much anymore. I think he's an okay start, but I'm not gonna be like, I would rather wait and see if I don't have to start him.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like, here's the thing. If he's healthy, though, I'm putting in my lineup. I'm starting over guys like Sterling Shepard. Yeah.
Really?
I am starting him over Sterling Shepard. I'd be willing to play over guys Tyler Boyd, Robbie Anderson, Rhonda Moore even. I know he's looked great, but I think Odell Beckham's explosiveness and just his ability to catch the ball, I think the Browns want to get him involved, and he's their only receiving threat right now. So I'm willing to put him in my starting lineup. He's not he's not a wide receiver 2 or anything. So it's more like he's a flex play, but I'm willing to put him in there.
It's not a bad matchup for him against Chicago, and they are not favorites. The line is the total line here is pretty low. It's 45.5. So there's a chance it's just it's more of a defensive game. But you're right. Like, upside of OBJ being the only one there is pretty appealing. Pretty appealing. And he said Jail's grad hat returns, and Scott Fisher, that's not a grad hat. It's the thing he used to have on the wall behind him. Yep.
That would look a lot bigger, a lot crazier.
Thing I used to have. I really need to set something up back there. Swampy in here says, "Who dat?
Who dat, Swampy? Let's go!"
And Unruly Drips up. What up, Unruly? Welcome back again.
How you feeling?
2 streams, 1 day. Jeff Foster and Scott Fish says, Josh Fauster, the Ravens fan.
Yes, that's me. That's me.
You know who texted me last night, Josh?
Tell me.
The security one, Miss Linda from the Ravens game.
Linda, she was a saint.
She was so delightful, and somehow we gave her my number. And she texted me. She's just like, "How's the podcast going?" She's like, "How about them Ravens?" So we were just talking. We were chatting about Tyson Williams and all the Ravens offense. It was delightful.
I just put out a short about Tyson Williams. It was one of my shorter shorts. You can have a 15-second short or a 60-second short, and I did a 15-second.
Tyson Williams good.
First one I ever did. Tyson Williams good. No, Tyson Williams is going to have a good season, guys. He is second out of all running backs with at least 20 carries so far this season. He's second in yards per carry behind only Nick Chubb, who is just always going to be a high yards per carry guy. And if your name's there with Nick Chubb's name, pretty good company.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm excited.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, Dan. Good friend Dan. Coming in with the heat.
Great friend.
PPR
love
redraft.
Dan, I love you, by the way. Miss you.
Dan, I love you too. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Devonta Smith for Tyler Boyd and Miles Sanders. Which side do you prefer? What do you think, Josh?
Easy answer for me. And let's break it down. Let's compare the running backs. Let's compare the wide receivers real fast. It's Miles Sanders versus CEH. And maybe you have Miles Sanders ranked a hair above, but I think they're in the same tier. And then it's Devonta Smith versus Tyler Boyd. I'd much rather have Devonta Smith. So it's CEH and Devonta Smith for me in a PPR redraft league.
I completely agree with you. I have CEH above Miles Sanders. I'm not as concerned with the slower start to the season. Miles Sanders, I am concerned that he's not going to get all the the opportunities this year. Kenny Gainwell is being used, so I would take CEH and Devonta Smith over both of those guys individually.
Yes.
Good question, Dan. Good question. And then Swamp said,
Great
so is
question.
Landry still out? Would you stream Hooper?
Landry's actually on the IR. He's going to miss at least 3 weeks.
At least 3 weeks.
Forget about Landry for a couple weeks. He has the knee injury. But would I stream Hooper? And the answer is no. I don't want to play any Cleveland receiving options. I'll play their running backs, obviously. I'll play Kareem Hunt. I'll play Nick Chubb. And I'll play Odell Beckham. But outside of that, I have no interest in Hooper, really. I'd rather play guys like either one of the Patriots tight ends, and that's saying a lot. I'd rather play Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, Jared Cook, who I think is a great start going forward. So look out for Jared Cook if he's on your waiver wire. I'd much rather play him over Austin Hooper.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't expect him to be a top 10 tight end this week, which kind of shouldn't be that hard to do. But I would not be excited about starting Hooper. Good question. He said, okay, so start 3 wide receivers: Godwin, T. Higgins, Mike Williams. I don't know why I went to Marvin Jones. I was Marvin Jones, Mike Williams, Julio, Claypool, and Hollywood Brown.
Start 3.
Gosh, yeah. Any of these stand out to you?
I mean, they all stand out. This is a great receiving core you've got here, Swamp. You got to start Godwin. He out of all these guys, he stands out the most as like the must start. And then we're coming to T. Higgins there. If he's healthy, he's also a must start in my mind, but he is questionable right now, dealing with an injury. If he's a game time decision, even I'm willing to pivot and go with one of these other options, but it's going to be T. Higgins for me as well. And now it gets really tough because we just talked about Mike Williams. He's going to have a great week. He's looked so good so far. I love Hollywood Brown. It's got to be Mike Williams, though, I think. Godwin, T. Higgins, and Mike Williams. If T. Higgins doesn't play, I'll put in Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I'm going to go firmly Hollywood Brown, Godwin, and Mike Williams.
Wow.
Just because of the injury with Higgins and Hollywood Brown's. Baltimore's playing Detroit. I feel like this is going to be a good matchup. This is going to be a good matchup for Hollywood Brown.
And Hollywood Brown has done nothing but produce so far this season. He has looked fantastic.
Props to you, because you were pumping him up right before the season as someone you want to get on your roster, and absolutely panned out. So
as long as he was healthy, I mean, 16 targets, 12 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 182 receiving yards through the first 2 games of the season. Hollywood Brown has looked fantastic, and they're playing the easiest defensive matchup they've had so far, the Ravens. So I love the Hollywood Brown call, but if T. Higgins is healthy, it's hard to bench him.
That's fair. Jay Felicio with PPR flex: Mike Davis, James White, Christian Kirk, or Laviska Shenault Jr.
For me, it's Mike Davis. James White's a close second. I can't trust Visca right now. I know he has a shoulder injury. I know he's practicing. He's good to go. Christian Kirk, I think his role's just getting reduced. It's Mike Davis for me, actually.
Really?
Yes.
I think I'm going to go... it's between the running backs. I might go James White, but it's close. Mike Davis is going against the Giants. You know what? I'm going Mike Davis too.
Yay, we're on the same
Mike
page.
Davis.
I love it. Mike Davis.
Anthony said, what happened to the grad wall art? They're actually acoustic foam panels for sound diffusion, and I took them down because I was going to do more like set up a backdrop, and I've, in classic JL fashion, have not done so. So I took them down, and because Jay needed a bunch of headshots, and I couldn't have that behind me. So
you could
blame Jay. It wouldn't have worked. Anyway, moving on. Big Perm 33. Love that name. Should I trade Tyreek and Kittle for Kelsey and Diggs?
So I would love to know a little bit more context in terms of dynasty or redraft. I'm going to just go ahead and assume it's a PPR redraft league, and I am willing to make this trade.
I would make this trade, yeah.
Yeah. Kelsey is so far ahead of Kittle at this point. Yeah, in redraft. Kelsey's so far ahead of Kittle at this point, and Tyreek Hill is a step ahead of Diggs, but the separation is different, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna take Kelsey and Diggs here.
Yep, fully agree with you, Josh. And there's a chance that Diggs finishes above Tyreek. I don't expect that. I do think Tyreek is gonna have that step ahead of. There's gonna be a step ahead of Diggs, but there's definitely a world. I don't see that really happening with Kittle and Kelsey. It's definitely possible. It's within the realm.
Diggs is going to see better weeks ahead. I mean, I know he's been a little disappointing, but I don't know how disappointing 13 targets, 9 receptions this week 1 is, and 8 catches for 4.
Diggs going Diggs.
Yeah, he got a touchdoam last week. He's
too bad he can't do sit-ups for shit.
He's going to be great going forward just because you have a personal, Diggs. You guys go way back.
One day I'm going to get him on the show. One day.
I can only hope.
That would be wild. I don't know how to say your name. FFF, DFD. We'll go with that. Brandon Cooks. Welcome in. Great question. Brandon Cooks with new QB or DJ Moore. This one is easy for me. It's DJ Moore. It's not even really close. It's a good question. I'm worried about Davis Mills. Brandon Cooks. We just did our week 3 wide receiver tiers during our game show stream, and I believe Josh, you and I were both in emergency start, or you were on bench for Brandon Cooks, right?
Well, it's in the context of the top 30 receivers. So right. Yeah, in those, DJ Moore is a top flight receiver. He's in the mid teens, so he's a high end wide receiver too for me. While Brandon Cooks with the new quarterback is too concerning to even feel comfortable putting in your lineup. I'm doing it. It depends on my other options. If my other option is DJ Moore, it's an easy decision. Yeah.
Completely agree. Unruly with how do you guys feel about Tyson Williams? I did see the short, but I don't know how to feel about him. I got him for nothing as soon as Gus got hurt. I really like Tyson Williams. I've come around and I was a little bit hesitant about his workload whenever Gus did go down, but the way that we've seen him used and the way that he's playing, like young man's got a shot and he is taking it, and I respect that, and I want him on my team if I can. I don't think they're not going to use him as the only running back, but they're going to use him as the main running back. And to me, that's more than enough in this offense.
He's the most talented running back that Baltimore currently has, and that's not changing anytime soon until J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are healthy, and that's not going to happen until next season. So in a redraft league, feel comfortable with starting Tyson Williams as your running back 2 week in and week out, in my opinion. I think he is a back-end running back 2 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Dynasty, I'm a little more concerned with just because draft capital and running backs really
sell in Dynasty.
Yeah, I completely agree. And friendly reminder, if you are getting value out of this, if you enjoy these streams, do us a favor, subscribe, like this video. It helps us out a ton. We're here every single weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right after that, at 4:15-ish, we do these office hours to answer your questions. And we're also on FanDuel's channels. So, subscribe to us here, Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube. Super easy way to support the show. Josh, Rodgers or Carr? He's got
this is an easy one for me. The Waller factor does not matter that much. I know we like stacking these guys when we're playing daily fantasy, but out in a normal redraft league, you got to start your best players, and it's Aaron Rodgers. He just had a super great bounce back week last week. He looked fantastic, and that's more or less what I expect for the rest of the season. Carr's look great too. Don't get me wrong. Carr's look great, but it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's not that hard of a decision for me.
Completely agree. I think they're both good starts, but Rodgers to me is a must start.
Yeah. Yep.
Dan says, thanks, boys. Love it. Keep killing it. You keep killing it, Dan.
Love you, Dan.
Tell me what to do. Cole said, Marvin Jones, CEH, Tyson, or Ruggs, Henderson. I'm guessing let's start one.
So, yeah. So if
is this his team? Maybe is the rest of his team?
It's probably, let's take it as a start sit question for week 3. Well, Henderson's out. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be playing.
He's probably not going to play, so you take him out of it.
It's not 100%, but let's take Henderson out. Let's take Ruggs out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to take him out. Like,
you're not starting him over CEH or Tyson.
No. So CEH, I'm still putting in my lineup. So if I had to choose one of these guys, it's CEH. Really, the question is Marvin Jones versus Tyson Williams. Who would you rather start this week, JL?
Tyson Williams. Tyson Williams. I have him ranked right behind CEH, and they're both low end RB2s for me. So if I have these guys, I'm trying to start both of them. Marvin Jones, I'm excited about, but if I have a running back who's going to be comparable, I'm going to take the running back.
Yeah. In a PPR league, it would be I might go Marvin Jones, but it's really close between Tyson and Marvin Jones. So give us a little bit more context there, Cole.
Great questions, Cole. Great questions. Drip says, I have been dancing with trades for Tyson. I love that terminology. I don't know why. I've been dancing with trades with Tyson Williams, such as James Robinson and Calvin Ridley, Tyson and T. Higgins. Josh, what do you think about that trade?
I couldn't do this trade. And it has less to do with Tyson Williams and James Robinson and more to do with Calvin Ridley and T. Higgins. Calvin Ridley is the one on that team. We're going to see such good weeks ahead. He's going to get so many targets, so many receptions. T. Higgins is in a 1A, 1B situation with Jamar Chase right now. And then they got Tyler Boyd as well. I would have to lean James Robinson and Calvin Ridley here. So don't make that trade.
Yeah, I'm a massive T. Higgins fan. He's still a step behind Calvin Ridley here. So I completely agree with you, Josh. I would rather have the best player in this trade. I do like Tyson better than James Robinson, but it's not quite the same gap. So
they're in a similar tier for me. I think Tyson Williams has more upside.
Yeah, I agree with that. Michael said, asked you guys a couple days ago, McLaurin versus Cooper, and you said McLaurin. But with Antonio Brown being out, how does Godwin play into that? What do you think, Josh?
I love his picture. I love Michael's picture.
I know. I thought that like a couple of days ago when he came in. Thanks for coming in, Michael. Great question.
So yeah, I'm still, if we're talking about McLaurin versus Cooper, is it for rest of the season or for this week?
I think it's this week.
Regardless, honestly, well, actually not regardless.
If it's not this week, if it's for the rest of the season, just throw that in the comments so we know.
I would go McLaurin. I'm going McLaurin and actually rest of the season and this week. But with Antonio Brown, how does Godwin play into that? Godwin's right there next to these guys. I'll still start McLaurin over Godwin though.
Yep, these guys are neck and neck in my rankings. I would for week 3, I would go Cooper and then Godwin, then McLaurin. But it is close. It is not.
Godwin could get Jalen Ramsey on him. So that's concerning against the Rams.
That's a good point.
I think McLaurin's just going to get peppered with targets. He's by far the most talented receiver on that team.
That's a good point. But he also is facing Buffalo. Buffalo is no slouch against wide receivers. But right. I agree with you. Honestly, you might have convinced me. I might put McLaurin above Godwin just because I feel like they could let Godwin be taken out of the equation and still be fine. Or, they'll rely on Gronk. They'll rely on Mike Evans. Great question, Michael. Anthony said Devonta Smith at Dallas or Rhonda Moore at Jacksonville.
It's Devonta Smith. I mean, Rhonda Moore just had a great week last week, but he's not quite as involved with the offense as I would like to feel comfortable putting in my starting lineup. He's super explosive, more explosive than 99% of the other wide receivers even out there in the NFL. Rhonda Moore is a lot of fun. If you need upside, he might be the choice, but even with upside, I just mentioned it in our last stream. Devonta Smith is going to have such a good week against the Cowboys. I am projecting over 10 targets this week for Devonta Smith.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 2 versus Rhonda Moore. To me, is more like wide receiver 3 flex territory with the upside. But yeah. I would rather go with the sure thing. And Devonta Smith has upside, equal upside in my mind. Unruly says, my team as of now, full PPR. It's Tannehill, CMC, Mixon, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I'm assuming not Julio Jones. AJ Brown and Cooper. Well done. That team's hot.
It's fantastic.
Backups are Darrell Henderson, Tyson Higgins. My God, what did you do? Are you playing with yourself? That sounds weird. Never mind.
Stop playing with yourself.
Stop playing with yourself. Unruly drip.
It still doesn't matter though. If you're talking about that Calvin Ridley trade.
Yeah, okay? Is that okay? Sorry.
Oh, well, he's not on this team.
I missed the comment.
I don't know.
So yeah,
you've got a good team. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't think this does anything for you. I don't really see this doesn't. If anything, I think it's a downgrade. So I wouldn't make that trade.
Yep.
Let's see. PPR Flex by Polar Bear 102. Welcome in.
Yes.
PPR Flex. Should I play Rondale Moore, Josh Jacobs, Robbie Anderson, Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle, or Tyson Williams? What are you thinking here, Josh?
I have a lot of trouble with this one. I don't think you can have the confidence to consider playing Josh Jacobs. I think he's back at practice today, but I just don't think you can have the confidence playing with him with the injuries he's had and just the involvement we've seen so far in the offense. I love Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to have still a very good season. Robbie Anderson, again, we can't trust him very much. Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle. These are all guys I feel like you don't feel really comfortable trusting. I'm starting Tyson Williams.
Starting Tyson Williams out of this group?
Yep. Corey Davis is my second option. I'm probably it's Corey Davis for Tyson.
Are you worried at all about Corey Davis after this past week? and Zach Wilson not being able to move the offense against Denver this weekend?
So the thing is, Zach Wilson was playing the Patriots last week, and they're just so good at limiting rookies and
Patty
just
Bill.
rookie and the other team's best weapon, which is Corey Davis. So I think they took Corey Davis away last week. I think this week Zach Wilson's not going to throw 4 or 5 interceptions again. I forget how many turnovers he had, but it's going to be a better week for the Jets. Honestly, the more and more I think about it, in a PPR league, I think I play Corey Davis.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still starting Tyson Williams out of all these guys. It's a clear separation out of this pack here. And then I like, you said Corey Davis was the other one.
Well, I think it's just one, right?
Well, I'm saying, but you were saying Corey Davis, you would start.
Yeah, Corey Davis.
Yeah, I think I might start Rhonda Moore over Corey Davis, but I would. They're not far apart. So, but Tyson Williams to me is a tier above.
Yeah, I just think Corey Davis is the best weapon they have on that offense. While these other options, that there's negatives we could say about all these guys.
Yeah,
right?
They all got issues. And then Rody Ramen making me hungry. Do I start Corey Davis or Brandon Cooks at flex PPR? Josh, are you sticking with Corey Davis here?
No, it's Brandon Cooks actually.
Really?
Yeah. I think that just shows a lot about what we're talking about here with that last question. All those options I'm pretty down on for week 3.
Jamison Crowder coming back.
Yeah. So I'm pretty down on all those options. I go back. I'm starting Tyson Williams and the last one. I just think he's going to have such a good game this week. Really do, against Detroit. But this one I am starting Brandon Cooks still over Corey Davis.
Yeah, it's close. I would start Corey Davis. I'm very worried about Davis Mills. And I'm probably going to be wrong because I've been wrong about Brandon Cooks this offseason. So,
and I'm sure I think we talked about this on our stream already. I forget who brought it up, but I think Davis Mills had 18 throws last week, and 9 of the targets were to Brandon Cooks. So Brandon Cooks is going to be heavily involved.
So maybe it's because I confused him with Jacob Eason. I'm giving him
Jacob Eason. They're all the same guys. Davis Mills.
And said Cook or Higbee this week. Jared Cook.
That's a really good question.
What do you think, Josh?
They're back to back for me. I actually Higbee's a safer option, but I think Cook is going to be a back end tight end number 1 the rest of the season, and he's going to end being a top 10 fantasy tight end. Jared Cook, he had a touchdown called back last week, I believe, and he's actually been heavily involved in the offense. I'm playing Jared Cook over Tyler Higbee this week.
I am too. They're not favored in this game. It's a high total line here at 55. You're going against Kansas City. I expect that they're going to have to claw their way back from Patrick Mahomes. Scoring a bunch of touchdowns. They're going to have to pass the ball a lot, and I think that's going to help. Mike Williams is going to help Jared Cook. It's going to help Keenan Allen. So I would rather take that upside. Higbee has been a little disappointing. Higbee's matchup against Tampa Bay, I expect that to be a high scoring game as well. Actually, the total over under for that is a half a point higher. So 55 and 55 and a half.
2 of the highest scoring games of the week.
2 of the highest scoring games of the week. I'm going to follow the targets here. I'm going to go Jared Cook.
Let's go. And I was high on Jared Cook coming in the season too. I was telling you could take him with your last round pick in almost every league and have a top 12 tight end.
That's really panned out. That was a big surprise. Rody Ramen. Is it Rody or Roddy Ramen?
I'd say Roddy.
Roddy Ramen.
Roddy.
Tell us how to say it. We want to respect your name here. Bucks or Bills defense for you, Josh?
This is a pretty easy one for me, and it's the Bills, actually. It's just because of the matchup. The Bucks are playing the Rams, and I think the Rams have a fantastic offense with Matthew Stafford. I am not going to want to play defenses against the Rams going forward, while the Bills are playing the Washington football team. And the Washington looked pretty good against the Giants last week, but that's not saying a lot. The Bills have a better defense. I think there could be more turnovers in that game. I'm going with the Bills.
Now, the Giants defense, they're not as bad as as I guess the team in general, like their reputation, but it's not the Bills. The Bills have very good secondary. I completely agree with you. I'd much rather start the Bills here.
Now here's the question though. Like, can you drop the Bucs defense? Because they're going to be a good defense for weeks to come. And they're playing New England, Miami, Philadelphia, Chicago, New Orleans after this week. So you're going to want them in. So if it's a situation where you have no one to drop, you're not. I don't like hanging on to the two defenses. So maybe I would just roll with the Bucs in this situation. Just
hope,
just to kind of get me through the week almost.
Yeah, if you do have a roster spot, maybe just stash them. That is a nice, New England, Miami, Philadelphia, and then Chicago, which might not be. That could be good. That could be bad.
Maybe Andy Dalton will be back by then.
Maybe Andy Dalton will be back, and maybe Justin Fields isn't as doesn't have such a hot start as we think. Right? Maybe he throws some, at least for fantasy. Maybe he helps fantasy defenses.
Last week, I know he came in relief and the offense wasn't really prepared for him, but he threw one of the worst interceptions
He did.
I've seen all year.
He did.
It was ugly.
All the rookie quarterbacks did not look great.
No.
Darrell Henderson or David Montgomery. This would be David Montgomery for me, even if Darrell Henderson was healthy, but he's not. So definitely David Montgomery.
Nothing to add. You're absolutely correct.
Albert, welcome back, Albert. Good to see you. Ryan Tannehill or Daniel Jones. This is a good one. This is a good one.
So Daniel Jones has that rushing upside a little bit more. He's been running all around, and he's looked pretty good doing it. And he's playing the Atlanta Falcons this week. Ryan Tannehill has got a bit of a tougher matchup with facing the Colts. But I trust Ryan Tannehill still so much more. He had that Julio Jones touchdown call back last week. I feel much more comfortable putting Ryan Tannehill in my starting lineup, but if you need upside, I don't blame you for going for Daniel Jones, but I'll lean Ryan Tannehill here.
How much does Tannehill rush?
He can run. He can run. He's going to get a couple rushing touchdowns every year. He's not going to put up a lot of yards, but
so 2 attempts for 17 yards in week 1 and 4 attempts for 27 yards in week 2. I'm going to go Daniel Jones here. I love the matchup, and he has been running a lot, which in fantasy is just the cheat code. Week 1, 6 attempts for 27 rushing yards, and week 2, 9 attempts for 95 rushing yards. That's going to give you a nice floor, and he's making some nice passes. Still some stupid mistakes, but I think he'll be fine. He's been a really good quarterback so far in the season. A great value if you got him in fantasy drafts. I'm going to roll with Daniel Jones this week, but it's close. So
it's so close.
I don't fault you at all on that one, Josh, because Tannehill, like where you drafted Tannehill, I would want to start him over Daniel Jones.
I'm just predicting a bounce back game for your, just a bounce back to fantasy game for your Ryan Tannehill this week.
Yeah, man, lots of people facing that decision, the Tannehill versus Jones. It's honestly, it's a good situation to be in. I think both guys will have good weeks.
I have this situation as well. Daniel Jones is on the waiver wire in one of my leagues, and I have Ryan Tannehill. I've considered it, and waivers ran, and Daniel Jones is still there, and I am hands off. I'm staying with Ryan Tannehill.
Wow. All right, let's get on to the next one. We got a bunch in here. So Brandon Cooks tonight or Sterling Shepard? Sterling Shepard for me.
It's Brandon Cooks for me.
Oh, split the room.
Yeah, I mean, it's because Evan Ingram's coming back, or he's expected to come back. If Kenny Galladay's out, I'll change my mind to Sterling Shepard if he doesn't end up playing. But I think we're going to see less targets for Sterling Shepard going forward. I'm not saying he's not a startable option, but I'll go Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I that's totally fair, and I respect that process. The reasoning for me for Sterling Shepard here is that it's the same what we were talking about Daniel Jones. They're facing Atlanta, and so I'm going to play anyone who's playing Atlanta because they're just super porous. They're going to give up a ton of fantasy points, and Daniel Jones, hasn't when Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard are both in, he hasn't hyper targeted Evan Ingram over Sterling Shepard, and he seems like he's locked in on Shepard. They have that rapport, they have the connection this year, so I'm just going to hope that continues. I think it likely will at least decrease some because there's going to be more options. It's another talented player running on the field. So he's going to siphon some of that, but I don't know if it'll be, too much. And this is a matchup where I want to play them.
Yeah.
Taste the Skittles. He's
Just
correcting
the
I
Shepard.
thought he was answering his own question.
And then it's also Brandon with an I instead of an O. It's Brandin,
Yeah,
which kind of got you guys in Fantasy Fortune this week. I know it was a little confusing seeing that I in there. You're like,
yeah, it's a tricky one.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Brandon Cook. Unruly Drip. Also, I know Joe Mixon is a start every week, but I'm a bit worried about him. Would you start Tyson with his matchup at Detroit over Joe Mixon?
You're overthinking it. It's Joe Mixon. He's just going to get so many more touches and opportunity, and he's a great pass catching back. In terms of carries and receptions, Joe Mixon's it. Tyson's going to be more efficient, but I'm going to take the workload of Joe Mixon by a lot here.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, where you draft him, you got to start him every week. And I think this will be a fine week to start him. It is a tougher defense. They're playing Pittsburgh. It's a lower total line here. Hey, if you can find a way to flex Tyson Williams, I would. I'm just very, very hyped on him this week. I think he's going to have a good week.
Yep.
Connor Barbera. I have Debo, Ridley, McLaurin, Woods in my PPR league. What three would you start?
It's not Woods. Debo, Ridley, and McLaurin. It's that simple.
Yeah. Man, would I start McLaurin? Would I start Woods over McLaurin? I don't know if I have the cojones to do that.
No, you don't. If anything, Debo is my third guy. It's Ridley and McLaurin are like, throw them in there. You got to start those guys. Debo, he's looked too good not to bench, and Woods just hasn't been as involved as I would like in that offense.
You know what? I'm overthinking it. You're completely right. You're completely right.
As always, JL.
Yes.
Like, when am I wrong?
Omniscient Josh. Omniscient Jeff Foster.
I've never, and like I've said many times, you come in here, you are literally 75% more chance of winning your fantasy game listening to the
scientifically guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely.
We paid scientists to say that. It's true.
Yes.
It's 100% facts.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, so there's negative things to say about all these players, but there's nothing negative to say about FYF. Perfect timing there.
Hey, that's us.
We got Simon. I don't know. You can make an argument that there's some. Nah, just kidding. Taste is good. So Brandon Cooks averages 10 targets. That's exactly what Josh is saying. That's why Josh is high on him this week. And he's saying Davis Mills was hyper targeting him. So
yeah.
There's some uncertainty,
I'm nervous still. I'm nervous, but we're talking about Sterling Shepard or Brandon Cooks. I can make that decision comfortably.
Yeah. It's high risk, high reward. I think just there's some uncertainty, but if he's getting that many targets,
probably a little bit safer. A little bit safer.
Yeah.
I like to roll the dice.
Cole saying, so y'all think I start CEH over Jones Jr.? Why am I blank? Who's Jones Jr.?
Marvin Jones?
Marvin Jones Jr. Okay, or Tyson.
I think he's a junior, I believe. I think
you're right. Start CEH over Marvin Jones Jr. and Tyson.
I'm not getting cute. I'm rolling with CEH still. I think he has a bounce back game this week. I know the last 2 weeks have been disappointing, especially last week with that fumble. I think he had like not even 2 fantasy points.
That was tough though, man. That was not even like it's one of those fumbles where it's just like, it's hard to really defend against. It just got punched out. So
playing against 2 great run defenses these first 2 weeks, I think CEH is due for a bounce back. I'm rolling with CEH.
Chargers are not. They're not a great run defense so far, and so and it's supposed to be a high scoring game here. 55 is the total. The line set for the over under. So take that for and the Chiefs are favored in this matchup, so there's a chance that he gets a positive game script. Yeah, I'm with you, Josh. Pronounce it like you were saying, Roddy. I said it both ways. Oh wait, okay, I said it. Roddy ramen. Gosh. Perfect. So hungry. I'm gonna go make ramen when I go downstairs. All right.
I'm hungry too, honestly. I could eat.
PBR flex. Should I play Sterling Shepard and Claypool, Brandon Cooks, Tyson Williams, James Robinson, Rhonda Moore, or Pittman? A lot of Tyson Williams.
Yes, Tyson Williams. He's a popular. A lot of people are just wondering what they should do with him, and I'm excited for him. A
lot of players. Josh's thinking sound. Pulling up these matchups here. Let's see.
It's probably man. So if Deontay Johnson's not playing, I'm playing Chase Claypool.
Yeah, it's close enough that I think I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
My answer is Tyson Williams.
And I'm
That's
fine
my
with
answer.
that as an answer. He's so super uber efficient, and I think the Ravens are going to use him more and more as the season goes
Against
along.
Detroit. It's against Detroit.
I'm fine with that.
Good question. All really great questions today. Marty says, sup guys, half PPR, OBJ, or Rondell Moore. God, Marty coming in with the heat.
Listen, I already announced my love for Odell Beckham even this week. Not my love. I just think that if you have him on your team, I think you should feel fine starting him, putting him in your lineup. I think he's such a talented wide receiver, and they're going to have to get him the ball. They're going to have to get him involved. He's by far their best weapon in the receiving game. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are great. It's Odell Beckham for me.
And I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go Rondell Moore. There's too much uncertainty. I think they're playing too many games. I want to see OBJ come back. I want to see him prove it on the field. I would rather take the upside with Rondell Moore this week in that offense. It's not a particularly tough matchup against Jacksonville, and so there's a chance they just keep getting him involved, and he has another blow up week.
I'm excited for Rondell. I mean, his career. I'm just excited for him as a player. I love just watching him play.
I will never forgive myself for goofing and taking Kadarius Toney and letting you get Rondell Moore in our rookie draft in the offseason. That was such a stupid mistake.
I got Rondell Moore in like 3 fantasy dynasty.
There's always those things that just haunt you in the night. They always just haunt you. The taste of skills, man. Bucks have the best defense. You play the Bucks, even if it's 6 points. In some leagues, defenses can get negative points, man. Sure.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Roll with them. You're on one of them going forward, so I don't want to drop the Bucks.
No. And Anthony said Derek Carr still is rostered under 50% on Yahoo. That's kind of surprising.
It's not that surprising for me, and I'm going to tell you why. He's leagues,
ugly.
He's ugly. He wears way too much makeup. No. Listen, in smart leagues, like let's say an average league has 12 teams in it, right? In smart leagues, I don't think you should hold on to a backup quarterback. I mean, there's some situations where it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm totally with that strategy.
And Derek Carr is not a top 12 quarterback for me. So what's that say? He probably shouldn't be rostered.
Enjoy the waiver wire, Derek. Get friends.
Derek Carr's looked fantastic though through the first 2 weeks. I'm not trying to take that away from him. There's just other guys I'd rather have. I mean, like we're taking Matthew Stafford over Derek Carr, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's not even close.
Baker Mayfield.
I'd rather have Justin Fields on my team right now.
Oh yeah, the upside. Derek Carr will never have that upside.
Yeah, I'll go Derek Carr over Baker Mayfield.
Derek Carr over Baker. It's close for me.
Absolutely. And it's over close. Daniel Jones. So, I mean, he's a borderline top 12 quarterback, Derek Carr. But
yeah, I would take Daniel Jones over him this week.
Yeah. This week, yes, I agree.
Derek Carr. And Tasty says Daniel Jones is a good start. Facts. Let's see. Anthony said Josh stole my grandmother's mug.
This is Starbucks. Yeah, Starbucks.
I'm going to hop around here just so we'll get to all the questions. I'll hop around. Cash Stylist, welcome in. Would y'all trade Barkley for Kelsey? I think that's a fine trade. I think it's a fine trade. I think it's sort of like it's going to depend on you're getting a positional advantage at tight end. And to me, they're both in like top tier. I would expect them both to go in the first round if we were drafting today. I'm fine with it. As long as you have some good running back depth and also team size. That would also factor in here. If it's like a 14 team league, then I would rather have Barkley because running backs are going to be more scarce. You're not going to face a tough tight end matchup from your opponents as frequently as like a 10 team league. So those things would factor in, but otherwise I think you're kind of, it's more of a lateral trade. It's just depending on if you want that positional advantage.
You summed it up pretty well. They're both, first round picks coming into the season, and Barkley's done nothing but disappoint people. While I do think he's going to get more and more involved with this offense and be more and more efficient and successful, Kelsey's done nothing but produce. He's the number one PPR tight end through the first 2 weeks. I want Kelsey on my team in a 10-team league, 12-team league. I'm willing to make this trade, but you have to make sure you have the running back depth to do it, like Dale said. Barkley
is going to bounce back. And so I wouldn't make this trade now. I mean, even if he has a good game, like it's still a super fair trade. Yeah. I just try not to trade any of my players who are on a down week because it just affects people's perception of it. They're not going to want they're not gonna be as excited. So try and like wait. I think this will be a good week for Barkley. And so maybe wait until after this week.
Yeah.
And honestly, whether he has a good game or a bad game this week, you're probably still gonna be able to make that trade because it's super fair. All right, Roethlisberger or Heineke, super flex.
Heineke. Roethlisberger's terrifying me with his pec injury now, and he hasn't looked good through the first 2 weeks. I'm nervous about Roethlisberger ability to throw the ball, which is kind of important to have when you're the starting quarterback for a team, I would say.
You can just run, right?
Taylor Heineke can run, actually. So,
and he was throwing some dimes too,
and he looked really good.
He definitely made a lot of mistakes. But man, that dude has a cannon.
Yeah,
he had some zip on the ball. Yeah, these guys are close. I would lead Heineke for the same reason. Yep.
Love it.
Ridley or Lamb?
I
love you.
Ask
Anthony.
us that question. Don't ask us that question.
Yeah. Starting both. Come on. You're choosing between these two guys. You don't need help. You're gonna win.
In a redraft league, I'll lean Ridley. In a dynasty league, I'll go Lamb.
I would do the same. This week in redraft, you're going Ridley, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ridley against New York. I mean, they're both good. Start them both, Anthony. Start them both. Shouldn't be a choice. My mom said, no, you don't. LOL, Josh. I don't remember what that was in reference to, but no, you don't, Josh.
I definitely don't.
Suck it, Josh.
Never would.
Benny in here. Welcome in.
Benny.
What's up, guys? Edmonds or Rhonda Moore for PPR flex. Josh Jacobs being out is a little interesting. What do you think, Josh?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be Chase Edmonds. It's got to be Chase Edmonds. Yeah, Chase Edmonds, he's produced through the first 2 weeks. He's going to be involved in both rushing and the pass catching game. While Rhonda Moore, he looked great last week, but we cannot trust that. It's Chase Edmonds.
It's close for me, honestly. Like we already alluded to, Rhonda Moore, they have a really good matchup. I'm trying to start Rhonda Moore anywhere I can, but it's Chase Edmonds between the two of these guys. It's just he's safer, upside similar. So yeah, I would try and start those two. It's not as quite as clear as Anthony's Calvin Ridley and Lamb, but I would like to start both those guys if I could. Anthony said, I think Jones Jr. might be Tony Jones Jr., but you're benching him for sure.
Isn't Marvin Jones a junior as well?
I think Marvin Jones is a junior. Or is he a senior? I don't know.
It might be senior. I was just whatever.
At what point, if you're a junior, do you become a senior?
When you have a kid.
So you just change it? Because you're also still a junior. Are you junior senior?
I don't like this question. This is the toughest question I've been
the one question we can't answer in office hours. All right, we'll try and power through these. We're going to wrap up here soon, but we'll try and get through the rest of these questions. Tom Brady versus Justin Herbert this week.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Listen. You could obviously go Justin Herbert against Kansas City. It's going to be probably a little bit of a higher scoring game in my mind. And the Rams have a better defense than the Kansas City Chiefs have, but it's hard for me to bench Tom Brady at this point. I couldn't envision doing it even for Justin Herbert.
If you have this is separate from this question. It's kind of unrelated, but if you have Josh, I texted you earlier this week for a team that we co-manage. If you have Tom Brady, I would be trying to see if you could shop him around. He had a super easy starting schedule and he just had a crazy touchdown rate. And so I don't expect that to continue. He doesn't really have the rushing upside. So I would see if you can capitalize. If you have someone who's like really hyped on Tom Brady after this start, see if you can go and get one of those like rushing, Lamar, a Kyler. I don't know if you'll be able to trade for Kyler at this point, but separate from this question, I'm going on Tom Brady as well this week. Great question, Rich Chipmunk. Also, what is that? What is the avatar from?
It's an anime of something.
It is an anime. Cash says, would y'all trade Barkley? We already did that one. I was like, didn't we answer that? Kenny said, I traded Mike Williams for Robert Woods. You think Woods will start to perform? I think he'll likely get more involved. I would rather have Mike Williams at this point, honestly.
I'm still taking Robert Woods. I know Mike Williams looked great, I'm probably even
I'm a little
willing to
biased.
I'm willing to start Mike Williams this week if that's what you want or where you want to go. But I think at the end of the season, I think we'll look back and we'll see that Robert Woods had the better fantasy year.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on Mike Williams in general. I've watched every one of his college games, watched every one of his games in the pros. So I'm a big Mike Williams fan. I think this trade makes sense. It makes sense for you to make that upgrade. I think there's definitely a world where Mike Williams finishes above Robert Woods this year, as long as they keep giving him the targets and using him in the way that they are. JML said Juju or Pittman and Gould or Crosby.
Yeah.
Kicker questions.
So kicker question. So it's Juju, and it's an easy Juju answer for me.
Juju, yep.
Pittman. Now Gould or Crosby, I'm not a kicker.
You are not a kicker.
I don't have many kickers in my fantasy leagues. I don't know.
I would go
Robbie Gould.
Yeah, they're both honestly close. I'm just looking at matchups here. Gould is facing Green Bay. Crosby, Sanford. Oh, wait, they're facing each other. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. Really make myself look dumb on that one. But yeah, I would go Gould here. And he said Baker is 68% owned, Carr 49%.
And thank God, Scott.
Bakery Mayfield sounds delicious.
Thank God we have Scott here. If you're a junior and you have a kid, you're still a junior. The kid's the third. Easy answer. I mean, obviously, duh. We should have known that.
We should have. Irv Smith Jr. the third. Okay. And Cash said it's 10 team. My RBs are Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, and Damian Harris. Yeah, I'm making that trade. That's to refresh you. It's Saquon Barkley for Travis Kelce. In a 10 team, it gives you a positional advantage over your league mates. So you're going to face more frequently throughout the season, and you have plenty of depth there. I'm not worried about it.
I agree.
Let's see. James says Tyson Williams, Antonio Gibson, and Damian Harris. I think Tyson Williams might be the most included player this week.
Yeah, in our chat.
Yeah,
he's not your answer here because
no,
I don't know if he is. For me,
no.
It's an easy Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson, like I know he hasn't really put together great fantasy finishes yet, but he's been so super involved with the offense. Week 1, 20 rushes for 90 yards, 5 targets for 3 catches. I know he didn't score a touchdown yet. And then last week against the Giants, he still had 13 rushes for 69 yards and 2 catches. I mean, he's going to have much better weeks ahead. McKissick is not going to be scoring more fantasy points most weeks than Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson's a great running back.
Yeah, I just can't bench him. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. It is a really tough matchup against Buffalo. There's a chance that they're just not able to get it moving with Antonio Gibson this week. That's definitely like within the realm of possibilities, but you got to start him over these guys.
Antonio Gibson, I actually think is going to have a good week.
Yeah, I hope so. James says Ridley, Hopkins, CD, Godwin, start 3. I'm thinking about starting Godwin because of Antonio Brown being out.
Hey, first of all, James, you got great wide receivers.
Yes. I'm not.
These are all like top 15 options.
This is like
top 20 for sure.
Like there's not a chance any of these guys makes it out of the 3rd round if you were drafting today.
Listen, maybe Godwin. Get that Godwin is being raised in our rankings because Antonio Brown is most likely out, but
it's not enough.
It's Ridley, Hopkins, and CD still.
You gotta roll with those guys.
It's close, but it can still be a Gronk week. It could still be a Mike Evans week. Godwin's going to be involved. He's going to have a solid game, but you could say the same exact thing about Hopkins, CD, and Ridley. I would have to start those 3 still.
Yeah, God, Hopkins against Jacksonville. I hope that goes exactly how we think it's going to go.
It will.
Scott said, if you are a junior and you have a kid and name him after you, are still junior. The kid is the 3rd. Have one of these in my extended family.
Fair
extended
enough.
Family. That's not real. It's not a real thing. So that we actually call him junior. So that's just confusing. Anthony says, should I start Tyson Williams or Matt Breida? And this will be the last question. We're going to wrap up after this. Boom. Let's end it on an easy one. Thank you. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Matt
Breida.
Thank you for the
good hearty laugh.
softball. Yeah. It's Tyson Williams.
It's Tyson Williams.
Just in case anyone thinks we're serious
yes.
here, it's 1000% Tyson Williams.
Thank you everyone for coming in. Such great questions today. Friendly reminder, you can support the show by subscribing, hitting that thumbs up if you like this, if we were able to help you out. We're here every single weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we got these fancy office hours every Tuesday, Thursday, right after that stream. So around 4:15-ish or so. And we'll be here every week of your fantasy season, help you out, answer your questions. We're here. You can also catch us on FanDuel's channels. Friday night evenings at 6 and Sundays at 7. My gosh, we really need like a graphic or like a little, what's it called? Postcard that we can send to everybody. And we got one more question here before we wrap up.
I wanted to answer it too. I was just reading it over.
MP, welcome in. Yo, I'm getting an offer for Tyreek Hill, David Montgomery, for Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, CEH, Darrell Henderson. I could ask to switch the RBs up. He has Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell, or Tyson Williams. Okay, hold on.
Tyreek Hill. So right now, so you'd be getting Tyreek Hill, getting offered Tyreek Hill and so you'd be getting Tyreek Hill and David Montgomery. So David Montgomery is his best running back option for sure, over Josh Jacobs, Eli Mitchell, and Tyson Williams. Oh, so he has Tyreek Hill and David Montgomery. I'm sorry. He just came in the chat and said that. So you would be giving up Tyreek Hill and David Montgomery for Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, CEH,
I'm taking
and
the second.
Henderson?
I'm taking the Justin Jefferson side of this. There's just so much firepower there. The only situation I'm not doing this is if you're in like a really small league, like an 8-man league where you're not gonna be able to start all those guys. Everyone has loaded lineups, and you want to upgrade at the, someone's looking to upgrade at the position. Otherwise, if all those guys, apart from Darrell Henderson, are Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, CH, I'm going to be trying to start every week. So, I would be taking
if all 4 of these guys are going to be starters in your lineup, this is an easy accept. I know it sucks giving up Tyreek Hill, but it's a 10-person league, so it's that borderline. But again, if you're starting all 4 of these guys, it's Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, CEH, and Darrell Henderson.
Now, would you try and switch up maybe Darrell Henderson for Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell, or Tyson Williams?
Darrell Henderson's looked really good. He looks like he's the guy for the Rams when he's going to be healthy. That's really my biggest concern. Josh Jacobs will talk about health. Eli Mitchell will talk about health. Tyson Williams is close, but I'll go Darrell Henderson.
Still. I would rather have Henderson over Mitchell. Jacobs and Tyson are interesting, and I'm trying to think like how Tyson is going to continue to be used throughout the season. I think I would go Darrell Henderson too. The rib injury concerns me. I wouldn't blame you if you try and switch out Jacobs or Tyson Williams. I'm thinking maybe even Jacobs. I might.
They're similar.
I would rather have Jacobs. Yeah.
They're all Darrell Henderson, Tyson Williams, and Josh Jacobs. They're in a similar tier. But Darrell Henderson, I think, has the most upside, and I'm always shooting for that upside.
All right, there you have it. Great question. And then Anthony, predictions on the score tonight. What do you think, Josh?
I don't know. I haven't
looked at it at all.
To be completely honest with you. I don't have any predictions. Can you give me the line? So it's Houston and the Panthers, right?
Sam Darnold.
The Panthers are going to win this game. I'll go 27-18. I like what you said there, Anthony. I like 27-18. I know 18 is a very strange score, but watch it happen. 27-18.
Let's see. The over-under is 43, and the Panthers are favorited by 8.5 points. Yeah. You know what? I'll go 21-17.
Okay, perfect.
21-17. All right. That is going to wrap it up for us today. Thanks everyone for coming in, spending some time with us. See you again tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow. Come back in, play some games with us, talk fantasy.
Trading does make fantasy fun. So get those trades in.
It does. All right, everyone. Enjoy your Thursday night matchup. See you later.